All right, let's have a discussion about the design process, sometimes purposeful, sometimes iterative, and how we go from something like this and end up with something like this, and why neither of them are wrong, and they're only better based on what you truly value. So what I've been doing, and I've been doing a lot of this, I'm talking about with the 3D printer and trying to get some organization, some other stuff going on. We've done the sockets. We've got the 5th gen of the sockets, the 5th rev of the sockets, and we're getting pretty close to launch on those. So we've already uploaded STL files, and we're actually going to start offering them here shortly. But recently there was a sale on the Tecton pick set over on Amazon, and it was a ridiculously good set. 14 picks, I think it was for like $60 or something. Really good quality. These are nice hard handle, if I can get it to focus there. I don't know if you can see it, they're Tecton. They're even made in USA. Really good quality picks. And I highly recommend the set when it's on sale. Now that said, they just come in, a box with a whole bunch of picks in it, and you're like, well, I can just throw them in my cart or my toolbox or whatever, and I've got a non-slip mat. It's not going to slide around. So why do I need a tray like this? Well, that's entirely, to be honest, you don't. Okay, you really don't. But it's nice to have organization. So let's talk about how we got from just these rolling around to this set right here. And I know, I'm sorry, the white, it is hard to pick up on the camera there. It's not the most photogenic. It does for, you older people with old man eyes, as it were. It does make it really pop. It makes it easy to see if you've got tools in the slots. People talk about shadow forming them and stuff. And we'll talk about some of the choices about why the design has this or doesn't have this and what we chose to go with. So the first thing I thought about was basically, and it's kind of a ripoff of the foam kind of sets. And that's the kind of setup you'd see with foam. You got a basic cutout for the tool. I wanted it to be designed specifically for these tools. All right, I'm trying to get like a regular pick here, not one of the little mini pry bars, but one of these tools to fit in there. But I also wanted it to be kind of usable with other size picks. We've got some of the super cheap little tiny ones from was it Pittsburgh? It's the Harbor Freight ones, the cheap ones, and they do fit. It will slide around a little bit, but it'll stay in its place, and it makes it easy enough to get in there and pick it up and grab it because we got the little finger cutouts there, and that's very much like you'd see from a design from a foam insert tray, the laser cut foam, that kind of stuff. And that's kind of where I was going. But then I also incorporated in this design some of the features that we got from the trays, the socket trays we went through. And part of that is on the first concepts, we were doing a radius around the outside, which is nice and is fast for the 3D printer to handle the radius kind of stuff, at least when it's going this way, maybe not so much this way. In fact, it actually becomes a little bit less fluid, if you would, because it actually works in steps. So we went with the chamfer because after talking to a couple of machinists who are fans of the channel, they reminded me that a chamfered edge on the bottom here is very useful in getting things to line up against each other. So case in point, if you've got two items that are slapping together in a case, if you have that little chamfer, then any dirt, crud, or any kind of material that's in there that might be getting in the way makes it line up against each other. Yeah, I'm sure woodworkers know this as well. It's often a little design. You'll see they'll cut just a little chamfer off the edge just so you get that firm face-to-face kind of meeting. Now, we carried that design throughout the rest of it in that A, it just kind of goes along with the design, and B, it gives you, as I drop it, it gives you nice finger grabs on the edge. So you don't have just a big smooth surface, especially on the bigger socket trays that are nice, big, and heavy. It really does, because I printed a couple of these where it was just smooth-sided, and you're like, like this one just has the chamfer on the bottom, the chamfer on the top, but no side grooves. I didn't think on something this small. I'm like, oh, we won't need the edges. No, the edges really help when you're grabbing, especially because, let's be honest, you're not usually looking straight at it. You identify it, you spot the item, you grab it, and then you're already moving to the next item. So when you have the straight sidewalls, it's a lot slicker. It does. It feels a lot slicker. Now, to be fair, this is a PETG carbon fiber filament, whereas this is just straight PETG. And then I printed these in regular PLA because, well, that's what I had. And I wanted to test a PLA build and see how it went. Now, so that then is how we got the shadow form cutouts, the open form on this, and then the beveled and almost embossed sides, if you would, because as far as the end, not really as necessary, but it does add to the structural rigidity of this. And this thing is not printed in a dense fill pattern. I think it's 5 or 10% on this one. We went from this, we went to a larger setup, and we went, you know what, let's go to an overhead view so you can actually see what I'm dealing with here. Okay, so we went from these, all right, and I went to a larger one. I went to this setup right here. And this is, I mean, it looks good. It's a handsome looking tray, isn't it? Especially in that carbon fiber. And I gotta tell you, I think the PETG carbon fiber might be my new filament. I know I call it PETG, I call it PETG. What you call it, what you want. I like PETG because it's way more resilient, heat resistant than PLA. It's stronger than PLA, and it's more chemically resistant as well. It's just an all-around better filament. It doesn't usually print quite as nice as PLA does, but I'll tell you what, you add that carbon fiber in there, and that is a really solid print there. It's a good looking, it feels good in the hand. I don't know if you can actually sound a difference on it, or hear a difference. No, that sounds pretty plasticky. I don't think there's much difference other than the size there, but it does feel just way more rigid in the hand. You just try to break that. Let me, if I go this way with it. Nope, that's not gonna happen. All right, so then I tried this one, and that was the next one, because the number one complaint was too much space is used up. And I'll be honest, if you look at this, that's a 4 tray versus a 3 tray, and the size is almost, I'm sorry, a 2 tray versus a 4 tray, and the size is pretty much identical. That's insane. So yeah, this is a nice layout. I like it. It looks good, but this is way more efficient. Now we put the indentations here so they kind of line up with the holder, or with the tools here. There's already that kind of indentation on it, so it makes it smaller than out here. So if I put it out here, it's not as easy to grab if I put it right there. And with that, in that location, then I can easily come in here and grab one. Problem is, I didn't add it to the edge. So when I try to grab the edge one, your finger can't really get in there. You can roll it out like that, and you can also grab it like this and pull it out. But I felt it needed the cutout all the way through. So we went with this one. This was the 123 version 3 here, if you would. And with this set, and let me dump these out here. With this set, we went even a little bit different. We added and there is a grade to this one. It's about 3%. I think we went with a 5% grade on this one, which left the back end of it sitting up a lot higher. So as you see, I have this hook here, which is one of the nastier one of these things. You don't want to grab it. You never would want to set it in facing up like that. But with this, I can almost run my hand over it, but I'm less likely to grab it. But you still don't want to do that. Anyway, point is that this gives me the handle sticking up higher. If I can show you there from the side, the handle sticking up higher. So I can either grab it from just straight from the handle. I can grab it from the recess down here. I've lost kind of the ability to grab it down here and tip it up as much because there's less lip here and it has a tendency to just slide right off when I do that. But it still gives me multiple forms of access. But one of the big things that people asked for was, hey, are they stackable? Because it'd be great if I could stack these in a drawer and have the whole set in one footprint. And I'm like, damn, that's a good idea. All right, so that's when we came out with this version here. And what we did is we got rid of the incline on it. It's now just straight horizontal. We carried the indentation all the way through. So you can see that. It's going all the way through. And then we added a small lip on each side and then created a negative cavity in the one, as I try to put a pick through my foot, in the one above it so that they do lock together. Now the side to side is not the strongest, but I'm not trying to get them so that I'm not trying to create Legos. I just wanted to make them stackable in a drawer. And in this case, they are just that. They are stackable in the drawer, and they work quite well like that. All right? And it makes it easy also to take it apart. You're not sit there fighting with them or anything else. So then the question is, can they incorporate all the picks in there and still stack another set on top? And the answer, of course, there is yes, I can. All right. Although this one does not. There we go. Got him in there. All right. So this allows you to stack it. They print fairly quickly. Again, this one's out of PLA. I can show you here. Let me pull it up so you can see from the side how they stack. You still have the side ridges, make it easier to grab. You do lose the ability to grab it from the handle side. Now you have to grab it from right there. But we did open this up a little bit, so it's actually a little bit bigger than the other one. So now it's really easy to grab there. Now here's the thing, and I haven't tested this yet, but we're gonna do this. I printed one of these, and this is what I did with the socket trays, was I did a little bit different. I printed one of these where the bottom 5% or 5 millimeters is in a dense fill. The rest of it is in a super light fill, and then these top edges are in a dense fill as well, because they're gonna get rubbed on and stuff, and you want them to last longer. So the question is, can I really feel which one is? I think this one's the one, because the thing is, by doing that with these edge cuts, I've now, yeah, like I can bend it. If I really wanted to, I'd probably gash myself with some sharp plastic. I could probably break that. Let me see on this one. Yep, I could do it again, but it's definitely more rigid and I have to try a lot harder. So definitely that extra infill in that bottom layer, and you could probably go higher with that also if you wanted, is really gonna help. And then the extra infill and density. I also changed the top layer. I'm normally printing at 0.2 layer, and this one's a 0.1 layer, kind of double up here to give it some extra density and rigidity, so that, you know, after, you know, months and years of this kind of action, locks nicely in place, that it would hold up to that. So I'm pretty happy about that. Let me know what you think. What do you think about the iterative process? Because what you do with this is you got to start, you got to be bold. Just get something down on paper or get it into your CAD software. I use Tinkercad because I haven't taken the time to learn Fusion 360. I'm going to do it at some point, but as long as I keep doing what I do in Tinkercad, I'm going to keep tinkering. But that's it. And I've been printing these. These are printed on both. These were on the Bamboo Lab X1C, and the carbon, the PETG. And I should say also all the PLA and the PETG were all on the X1C. And then this was printed on this carbon Centauri carbon from Elegoo. I have to say, there's a lot of stuff about that printer I'm not a huge fan of. I do like the whole ecosystem of Bamboo better, but for $300, first print out of the box. I mean, actually, this was the first. Okay, I take that back. The first print to see if it would work was a 20 millimeter cube, and it came out to be 20 millimeters. By the way, if you're going to do this kind of stuff, get yourself a good caliper. This is the Hardell off of Amazon. I like it because it's got a big old screen on it. And it feels better. It doesn't feel as cheap. Also, it's USB rechargeable, and you know you barely use. I mean, it's putting out an LCD. It's not even. Yeah, there's no power getting consumed by it. You're not gonna wear this thing out. But 20 on the side without even trying. I could start making my own loaded dice with them if I wanted, but. It was a fun little print. It came out so well. I'm like, I'm just going to go for it. I didn't have to futz with any of the settings. I just put in the some filament parameters that I found online, and because I was using their Elegoo slicer, which a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to use the bamboo because you have to use their slicer and you can't use Orca slicer. Orca slicer is derived, if I'm not mistaken, derived from the bamboo slicer, as is the Elegoo slicer, and all of it's from the Prusa slicer. So they're all cousins. It's not that big a deal. I've been playing around with them. I don't see that huge a difference. Anyway, I really do like throwing the roll in the AMS and the bamboo, automatically knowing everything and having all the settings. That's nice. It's convenient. You got to do a bit more. It's kind of a Mac versus PC kind of situation here. And but I can tell you, for just, this was the second print, and it's damn near perfect. Looks great. Feels great. It's just for printing in those kind of, those more difficult kind of filaments. I was really impressed with it, especially at the, was it $300 price range? Wow, that's insane. So anyway, let me know if there's other tools that you think we should come up with, whether it's tool holders, tool adapters, accessories for tools, kind of stuff. I just went with the Tekton set because I was just super excited, just got it, and it clearly needed some organization. We got the sockets. We're going to be working on some other stuff. We got battery holders coming, ratchet holders, the whole 9 yards, but I'm one guy doing all the design myself, so. And make sure you subscribe because I've been posting a lot of it to the community posts and then asking for feedback there. So if you're not subscribed, you're probably not going to see the community posts. And I've also been posting some of it over on the Facebook page as well. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And if you had some people actually email me some of the designs they've done for some other stuff. It's pretty cool. Anyway, if you like what we're doing here, go ahead and chomp the old like button, smash subscribe. Hold up. Let me back up and just say this also. We did say we were going to be selling these, and we are at some point. But the STL files, I put them on MakerWorld, free for download. You can have at it. You're free to use and redo and do everything you want except for selling them. So have fun with those. Anyway, if you like what we do here, go ahead and chomp the old like button, smash it, subscribe, ring the bell on the way out. You all take care. God bless. And as always, shine on.